Hi everyone. I'm gonna go over the very first steps that you would need to be making in order to create your very first basic page in HTML. So organization is basically everything in this program. So you have to make sure you can't just leave things on the desktop randomly because the program gets really confused. So what I've done here, I've made a folder called, I'm gonna actually, if you right click on your folder, you right click on your computer, you can choose the new folder, and I'm actually gonna, yeah, let's see if did I put anything in here, not yet. Okay, so I'm just gonna name it Art 335 Fall 2021. So I'm going to just basically put all my material in this folder. I'm going to open it up and just create a new folder here. And this one I'm going to just call it my last name and then week 1. So again, we're going to be building a lot of complexity to what we're going to be doing here, but like I said, organization is the most important part of this program. So what I'm gonna do, what basically is, you need to include a folder of anything and everything that you want to add on your web page. So here I have a folder called assets, and if I sort of just here click on the gallery mode, you can kind of see the different assets that I have in this folder. So I have the image, and I have some individual pictures, and we're gonna go over all this as we advance on our tutorials. And I also have a text Word document, and this one basically is just a simple Word page, and I've copied and pasted the textual information that I want to put in on my various pages. For now, we're just going to concentrate on home. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go ahead and launch Dreamweaver. So you want to copy and paste, like make sure you have like an asset folder, and add the asset material, hold the option key, and add it into the folder that you're working. This is like your working folder. So as you could see now, all the assets folder, including the text Word document, is included in this folder. I mean, you don't have to have so many images, but for now I've included them since I'm going to be building the other tutorials based on these. But as you could see, these are like the different background images for the various pages that eventually I'm going to have on my website. So now I'm going to launch Dreamweaver, and Dreamweaver, like I said, is a web authoring program similar to InDesign, which is for print. So I'm going to launch Dreamweaver, and the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to manage my site, which means that I'm going to tell Dreamweaver where this folder with my assets is located at. That is the most important steps in doing any kind of web management, because Dreamweaver has to know where your files are at. So the way you access it, you would choose site, manage site, and remember you can't have multiple websites that you manage. So on your end, you probably don't have anything in this window, which means that you could have like 100 different sites that you manage eventually. But for now, I'm gonna make, so this is my personal website that I manage here, but for the class exercise, we're gonna have a new site. So you want to choose new site. I'm gonna say week 01. and I'm gonna say save, and now I'm gonna choose edit, and from this bottom part, the local site folder, you want to click on the folder here and choose, click on fall 2020 R3, click on R3, the folder we just created, R335 fall 2021, and choose the folder for week 1. You want to click on it so that it's highlighted. So this part is very, very important, and you want to say save. You want to say done. As soon as you do that, you'll see that in the files and panels window, you'll see this drop down menu, and which mirrors everything that I have in this folder. As you could see, I have the week 1 assets. Everything that I have here is mirrored here. So that is very, very important. That's the very first step. The next thing we're going to do is from this welcome window, we want to choose new. Want to make sure new document HTML, and for this one I'm going to choose none. Eventually we're going to be using Bootstrap, but for this particular exercise I'm going to choose none. I'm going to choose the document size could be any document, so I'm going to say Ellie's web page, first web page. And for the title, that's the only place you can use special characters or capital letters and so on, but generally speaking you don't want to be using special characters for anything, but only for the title of your page you could actually do that. So again, there are different types of documents, frameworks that you could use. For this particular exercise we're going to choose none, and we'll dive into Bootstrap, which is much more complex later. So again, none, you can see it's highlighted with blue. Change the title, create, and you should see and then basically you could just see it here, and then you want to choose file, save as, and you want to make sure the very first page of your website is called index. That means that's you're telling the browsers that this page is going to load up first, and then again if you click it you could see that I'm in the right place, this folder, and then it should be under Zenhari week 1, and then you have the assets. I'm going to click save. If I come back here you could see that it is saved right here. Again, if you don't see it here, you want to go back and say site, manage site, click on the site we just created and choose the pencil tool for edit, and double check the local site folder to make sure you're pointing to the right folder, which as you could see I am. So that's where, if you don't see it, you want to double check, go back and double check. Now, as you could see, we have, if I go back right here, you could see you have a title of your HTML page, then you have the headers H1. So HTML is a tag-based program, and these are the abbreviations. So the P stands for paragraph text, href, and so on. So we'll discuss this further as we dive into it, and then you can kind of see the title of my program. But you see that I don't see anything on my page, right? So if I preview it, and the way you preview your page is file, real-time preview, we're previewing the browser. So you can preview your page on a browser, and sometimes if the page doesn't load up and you get an exclamation card or icon of a sad kind of a face, just come back here and just drag your control click your HTML page and open it on Google Chrome or drag it on the icon of any browser that you wish to view your work. So not very exciting, as we can kind of see, but we'll just, there are a lot of different tools that we'll explore. But this is, as I said, this is just a very, very basic introduction to adding content and links to your page. So as you could see, I have my paragraph tag. I have that are between my body tag, and the body tag is between the HTML. So the HTML is the very last tag on my page. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually add some content to this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna highlight my home. And in HTML, we have 6 different types of headers, which means that, just like headings in the newspaper, heading 1 is the largest, heading 6 is the smallest. And that's different than the paragraph, which is the smaller text information. The headers usually are seen by the browsers first, so it's almost like the title. You want to, just make it more visible, maybe make it a different color to just break up the content. So one of the easiest way to do that, you can highlight your P, like maybe the home page, and I'm going to choose insert. And as you could see under the heading, I have heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And remember, this is the largest, this is the smallest. I'm going to choose heading 1, and automatically this pops up. And actually, I'm going to quit out here and maybe just highlight the text here. Maybe do heading 3. And if you did that, you get this dialog box. You can put the header before your text tag, you can put it after, you can wrap it, or you can nest it. For this particular exercise, I'm going to just do nest, which is right here. It's not that big. And you can see in my, basically on the right hand side, I have my HTML header, meta, title, and h3. And here you can kind of see that my home paragraph is between the h3 tags. I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it. Now I can actually go inside the code and and change it manually too. So if I want this home to be bigger, I can go and change the head 3 to a head 1. Make sure you change the closing tag, and now if I did that, the head 1, it's just going to become a lot bigger. So now I'm going to go ahead and add some information. So maybe for this particular, so maybe instead of home, I can just change it to welcome. You can change it here. If you see, as you could see, the static text, which means the text that doesn't have links and you can highlight, they usually call this live text because you can highlight it and copy and paste it. It's basically reflected with white text. The coding, HTML coding, is all in blue, and the spacing and other issues are, you can kind of see the color orange, which we'll talk about later. So just get familiarized with this color palette. That's going to help you with what kind of content you're dealing with. I'm going to move the body tag down. Now I'm going to highlight well, actually I'm going to show you how you can make a link. So I'm going to go here and say So I'm going to just link it to my website. So let's say this is, you know, I want to make this a link. So what you would want to do, you would want to highlight the text that you want to create a link with. I'm going to choose window and make sure your properties panel is visible. So as I click on that, you see that I have an HTML tag and I have a CSS tag. You can kind of see that. We're going to talk about CSS later. So want to make sure you're on the HTML tag, and I'm going to go to a web browser and I'm going to just choose my website, which is elizanhari.com. I'm going to highlight the URL, the complete URL, which HTTP. I'm going to come back here, make sure, I mean, you can make the whole thing a link, or you can just click here, but you have to highlight it first. And then you're going to paste the URL here inside the link. And now from the target, you want to make sure to click on it, and you have to sometimes do it twice and choose blank. That ensures that this page opens up on a brand new window and doesn't replace your page. So okay, so and then if you guys want to do, so for this particular exercise, I want you to copy and paste all the questions that I asked you where you made the video. Just copy and paste that text here. If you have like an Instagram page that you want to share with the class, or any media content you want to share with the class, you can just post it here and make sure you share the link like this. And so the next thing, let's see, want to insert maybe a photo here. Maybe I'll just go back up here, and once you see, as I'm pressing the return key, you guys can see these spaces, right? So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click here, and actually I'm going to move this down. And there are these different tabs here. I have my file, which shows like everything that I have in my root folder, which is basically everything in that folder that I just created right here. And again, anything that you want to have on your website first has to be in this folder. You can make an asset folder and just put it right in there before you define your site. So I'm going to, let's see what picture I'm going to add. Maybe I'll just add any of these. This is eventually I'm going to show you how to make a carousel. So, but for now we can just use any of them. So if you click it and double click it, you actually can see the photo, what it is that you're looking at. So from here, we're going to talk about these options later, but as you could see, there is an insert option. So I'm going to choose insert image, and it says, okay, do you want to wrap it? Do you want to put it before or after? I'm just going to say put it this time, put it before. And it automatically knows to go to the right folder because I've defined my site correctly. I'm going to click here, and I'm just going to choose this one for now. And if you click on the picture, it gives you the size, the width, and the height. 600 pixel wide, 390 height. I can just make it smaller by simply going here, and I'm going to reduce it by 200 pixel. And remember, if you do 200 pixel here, you want to make sure to reduce 200 pixels in the height. So for the width, I'm going to put 400, and then for the height, I'm going to put 190. So they're proportions. What was it, 290? And then so I have my picture, so include a picture yourself. And again, if you want to get rid of these spaces, you can highlight the actual space and delete it, and automatically will change the order. And I'm going to actually move this, let's see here, I'm going to preview this, see what everything's looking like. So I have my web page, I have my picture, I have some textual information. Those are the information you're going to copy and paste here. And I have my link. If I click it, it'll go to my website. And the last thing we're going to do is to add an email link. And I'm going to go to live view. And it's interesting because this text is actually at the bottom, but because I have this paragraph tag, is kind of showing up on the top. So what I can do, see how there's an opening tag and closing tag for my paragraph? I can just simply get rid of the blue opening and closing tags. So now it's generally speaking what you see here. Sometimes it's not what shows on the browser, so don't panic if that happens. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna actually put this in its own section. I'm gonna highlight for more information about, and I'm going to choose insert, and this time I'm going to choose footer. Say okay, and automatically it just shifts it to the bottom of my page. And let's see here, the one other thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say email me. And again, I'm going to highlight it. Actually, you can do it a couple of different ways. Let me just do it the easier way, and I'll show you the other way in a second. So I'm going to, from this insert panel, you also have an email option. And basically I'm going to say email me, and then you want to put your email address. So as soon as you do that, you can see it populates like this, but the hard code to add an email is mail to and then your email address. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So you can see, you can either, anywhere here, you can kind of highlight whatever text you want and just type mail to and your email address, or choose the method that I just showed you right now. And I'm gonna save your page. And let's see that I have my link, have the email, and I'm gonna say don't save, and I have the link to an external page, and I have a picture. And actually, let's do two more things. I'm gonna come back here right after the photo. Again, you can also make the photo a link. So if I click on my photo, you see there is a link option here, right? So I can go, maybe go to MoMA. Let's say I want to point it to MoMA. Again, I'm going to click on that link, highlight the whole thing, come back here, click on the picture, make sure it's highlighted blue, go to the link, paste it, and again make sure, see the target on the picture is different, so you have to click off it and then choose the picture again and then do target, and sometimes you have to click on it twice and choose blank. This is really important because you don't want the viewer to leave your site if you know, they click on a link. And one last thing, I'm going to maybe go here. I'm going to go after that second paragraph, move it down, save the document. This time I'm going to go to Vimeo or YouTube, either one. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna go to YouTube because I think I have to pay for this one. I'm gonna go to YouTube. Maybe I'll choose Ted Lasso. It's a very funny show. So you can basically choose a video that you like, click on share, and then click embed. So share, embed, copy this code, oops, there's an iframe, copy it, and then come back here and paste the video in there. And now you'll see that you have the video right there, and we still have a lot more fine-tuning to do here, just because it's not, the page is not stylized, it's just I have like a picture that points to a MoMA website. I have like a video embedded,
you know, there's some soccer,
and then I have some text, I have my email link, and I also have a link to an external website. But as you could see, the page is not stylized at all, and that's where we are going to learn about CSS, which is cascading style sheets. So for your assignment, basically what I like you to do is to create one web page. So that's going to be like this, exactly like this. And if I double click it, you can kind of see what's going on here, and then submit it for your week 2 project. So the project should have a basic HTML page that's defined correctly like this, and then you have a picture that's a link to an external website, you have some text, you have an embedded video, you have an email link, and you have a link to an external website. Another little very last thing that I'm going to show you is that, as you can see, this is week 2, but this project is actually for week 1. So I actually did this on purpose so that I can show you how you can fix it. So you realize that you didn't name your file correctly. So the first thing you want to do is going to close your HTML page, make sure you quit out of it so it's not there. Change the name of your folder, so it should be actually week 2, not week 1. So I'm going to change this folder. Now I'm going to launch Dreamweaver. So this part is extremely important. If you made a mistake, you pointed the wrong folder, quit Dreamweaver, change the name of your folder, go to site, manage site, click on the folder that you had created, click on the pencil tool, change the name to 2, and point. See, as I click on here, it's still pointing to week 1, but I don't have a week 1 anymore. So local site, click on the folder and choose the correct folder with the correct file name and just say save. Now, as you could see, everything's going to run perfectly fine. This is the most important part in Dreamweaver. Please learn how to manage your site and name your folders correctly, and you won't have any issues. And once you do that, I want you to basically zip compress your folder and then upload it to week 2 on discussion board. That's the end of this tutorial.